Hello and welcome to another Do As We Do live. I'm that Kimberly. And this is
Jill, I'm that Jill. Sorry, I missed my cue.
it's okay.
You be Kimberly.
We're back again for another Do As We Do a Friday. We appreciate everyone joining us today. We're going to be talking about my brain spec imaging results. So super excited to share those and why I went to go get them done. Um, but yeah, before we jump into that, I just wanted to remind everyone that we are here every Friday. We try to do our best with that 3:30 Mountain Standard, 4:30 Central, and 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So we're just spreading the our knowledge and information around being caregivers and sharing other caregiver stories, because Do As We Do is a nonprofit foundation that is here to focus and help those unpaid family caregivers that often are forgotten and often forget about themselves, and forget about how to take care of themselves. So we're here to just remind those caregivers, share education and awareness around caregiving. So wherever you watch us from, make sure that you either subscribe, or so that you can get the notifications when we do go live. We are live on Do As We Do's Facebook page, on Jill's YouTube
Caregivers
channel.
living abundantly.
Oh, yes, on Caregivers Living Abundantly, as well as Do As We Do's Twitter and YouTube channel as well. So without further ado, let's jump into this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So
This is fascinating stuff.
it definitely was an experience, to say the least. So I actually went to get my brain scanned last month after doing a little bit of research. Before I actually show this image, let me back up. Jill, have you ever heard of a SPECT scan?
No, I hadn't before you told me about it.
I hadn't either. And I actually had not ever even gotten an MRI or anything like that, right? Like, and even when my mom was diagnosed, this is something I wish I would have known about, to go get her scanned as well. But I, about 8 months ago, discovered a doctor by the name of Dr. I want to get this correct, Daniel Amen, who was one of the first psychiatrists that started doing SPECT scans to his patients to figure out what was going on in their brain. And the SPECT scan is used to be able to show blood flow, the activity in the brain, as it relates to the blood flow. An MRI is more of a structural, scan, and the SPECT scan shows that if high, or I should say no activity, medium activity, and high activity. I should go the other way, but that's basically how they figure out several different types of what do they call it? I'm losing the words for what I'm thinking. It just shows,
Dementia
yeah,
or
it shows all kinds of
brain
mental
injuries.
brain. Yes. Uh-huh. So with Alzheimer's being one that they can see 20 to 30 years prior to there being any symptoms,
You.
which I was like, what? I need to know what this is, and I need
Do
to
it.
know where I go get one, right?
Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up quickly. So yeah, so I started going down a wormhole of information as it related to Dr. Amen and what he was doing and what he started 35 years ago. So I'm assuming that he is not the only person that does SPECT scans, but this is one of the many things that he specializes in, or his clinics anyway. So when I found out that they can see, everything from Alzheimer's to depression, anxiety, figure out if someone is bipolar or not, which for me, I was seeking a second opinion because I was actually put on emergency detention during in June of 2020. And unfortunately, with that, got a nice little 3-day or so stint in a psych ward. So with then them giving me a little diagnosis of being bipolar. And that was something that I was very, what's the word?
Skeptical about?
Yes, very skeptical.
Or not?
Yeah. Amongst other things, on top of the medication did not make me feel good or normal at all. So anywho, so after doing all my research, reading, listening to a lot of videos, I decided to go ahead and schedule a SPECT scan at one of his clinics. It happens to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So let me show you the first image. So what they do is it's a 2-day, well, it's a longer than a 2-day, but for the scans specifically, that takes 2 days. The first day they have you come in and you do you do 15 minutes on the computer where you're hitting a space bar whenever you see a letter, but then you don't hit anything when you see an X. So you're you're basically stimulating your brain by doing this little exercise on the computer, as well as they're also looking for other things like your attention, or attention deficit, in my case, ADD. So so that you do that the first day for 15 minutes, and then they scan your brain. They put you on something, I guess, that looks like it's, looks like the MRI, and then it just rotates around your head and takes these images. Then the second day, you don't do anything and you rest for 15 minutes, and then they scan you again. So they take the two different scans, or one with your brain being active and then one with your brain not being active. So and this was the result.
Cool.
So this scan area over here to the left of the screen is what a healthy SPECT brain looks like. So there's no dents, this is from the bottom up right here. And this is from the right side surface view. This is the
we can't
top.
see your mouse.
Oh, okay, they can't. Okay.
So
okay.
anyway.
Well, from the top down surface view, as well as the left side surface view. So yeah, maybe if I did it like here. Now can you see that?
There you go. Yep, we can see that.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so this is top down surface view, and this is left side surface view. So these don't really have much indentions. And now obviously this is where it's the bottom half, I guess, where, the back of our
base of your skull.
The base of our skull, correct.
Brainstem.
Yes, there we go. So, and this is my SPECT scan. So you can see over here some indentions on the right side surface view. You can see lots of indentions here to the, on the underside surface view of mine. And she even drew the doctor who gives you a basically breakdown assessment after they've scanned your brain. So these are all her drawings to explain, the indentions that are not supposed to be there. And as well as this top down surface view of my brain, where this little pink area, where that's indented, it's not supposed to be, as well as these little indentions right here and in the back as well. So this gave her the, she basically said, it looks like I've had a brain injury, so because I played contact sports when I was in school, and I had actually been in a car accident, but I didn't necessarily go to the hospital, but there's a possibility I could have hit my head in any of those scenarios, whether it's contact sports or the car accident I was in, and never even going to the hospital. She said that this is similar to someone that might have had some sort of brain injury. So that was very eye-opening to me, for sure. Yeah. So this is the activity flow of my brain. So again, this is the active view on the underside of my brain right here, and you can see the healthy, view on this left-hand side, and then the colors are red. The white is super, active. Red is, pretty active, and obviously just the no light up is low, right? Like more in these with the blue, just kind of the way it's supposed to be. But she definitely saw the ADD in me, with a lot of the different areas being pretty hyperactive, as she called it, in my brain, blood flow, or the lack of in some areas, like certain parts down here that she circled, there should be lit up and they're not. She said a sleepy cerebellum is what she, both left, like I had a left, was it left side?
Yep,
no, I had
the left side. This is the bottom part where the circle is the back of your brain.
Yeah. So, but she was saying that this side right here should be a little bit more lit up, and this not so much lit up right here.
So that's your right side, and the first side is your left side.
So, and she did, she said that there was no signs of Alzheimer's. And thank you. I appreciate that. Yay. That was a yay, from Mr. Pup. And then and that there was no signs of bipolar. So that was good, for my overall results that I was seeking the second opinion on the misdiagnosis that I had from being in the hospital, as well as my worry of, having Alzheimer's or, coming down, having any kind of symptoms. But she did say, because I had the brain injuries from the first slide that I showed, this one right here, that could in the future cause dementia. So that was interesting for her to, she basically was like, were you in a car accident? Did any of these things happen? And when I kind of walked through them, she just said, well, this is just similar to what somebody who has suffered some kind of brain trauma.
And I know I've seen some studies and some articles written, quite a few actually, about the connection between dementias and the brain injuries from war, and also from sports like football and soccer and high impact sports.
Yes,
you can get your head bashed a lot.
Yes, absolutely. So it's something that I need to be aware of and work on now, because this doctor and his doctors at these clinics have proven over 30 plus years that if you do if there's 11 things that they recommend that we should do or stay aware of to keep our brain healthy. So because I do have signs of damage to my brain on the outside, or the surface level, she said that I would need to work on, and she went through, which I'm going to show some of the things. She went through the 11 different risks, and 6 of them I need to really focus on to be able to heal my brain.
And that's amazing because nobody else is doing this work. Like everybody else is just saying, well, that's too bad. Deal with it. There's nothing we can do. And if they are doing something, they're giving somebody a medication that might address one symptom.
Yes.
One kind of symptom, group of symptoms, but it doesn't address the other things. And the things that I've learned about the brain recently is that so many things contribute to cognitive deficits and memory problems and things like that. It's not something a pill can handle, period.
Yep.
You need to do a lot of different things to help your brain. And your brain is either in protection mode or it's in building mode, growth mode. And you can't be in both. You're either in protection mode, which means you're cutting yourself off from nutrients, or you're in growth mode because you don't need to protect your brain because it's okay. So it takes a bunch of interventions to figure out where your brain is and get it to the right place.
Yeah. Well, they break it down this doctor has written several books, and they're one of the many that talks about these scans. You just go to amenclinics.com or Google Dr. Daniel Amen. But he created this acronym for people to remember the risks, or the 11 things that we should all do to protect our brain. So this was a part of my assessment, and the ones that are checked off here are the 6 that I need to work on. So the first one, bright minds. So the B in bright minds stands for blood flow. So making sure that that I'm getting enough exercise to get that oxygen and blood flow pumping from my heart to my brain. It's very important. So I need to work on that so that way I can heal that portion. The R in Bright Minds stands for retirement and aging, which he says that we shouldn't retire. We should not necessarily quit, but maybe step back a little bit, but always be learning something new and challenging our brain, especially after the age of I've seen him in talks say after the age of 55, but on the website it said 65 to 84. We're 2 times more at risk. So we definitely need to be mindful of learning something new and not isolating ourselves.
Yes.
That's another problem is as we get older, we become a lot more, we're a lot more prone to isolation or isolating ourselves, period. The I stands for inflammation, which you just, and if you have any of these periodontal diseases, any kind of body inflammation, you need to be mindful and take supplements to be able to reduce that inflammation. G is genetics, which the Alzheimer's runs in our family. So that is also another, he did say that, if you do have that the Brock gene, that if you do these things and you're more cognitive of and mindful of these 11 things, that you can heal your brain. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get Alzheimer's.
Right. Lots of people with that bad gene have turned around and been able to heal from some of those Alzheimer's symptoms and be normal. Yes. So
have a longer, yes, better cognitive life, especially as we get older. Yeah. The H is for head trauma. So making sure that we're, if we did play contact sports, so we're more mindful. If we are, bicycle riding, doing different activities like that we protect our head because it is, something that should always be protected, which I never even, I was like, oh, I have my head, strong, not necessarily, not good.
Hard as a rock.
Yeah. Toxins, so cigarettes, alcohol, any other environmental toxins that we've been around or grew up
Lysol.
with.
Just saying.
Okay. are also things that can damage our, our brain, the structure of our brain. Mental health issues, whether it be from chronic stress, depression, PTSD, any bipolar disease, any of those, but also being, mindful in meditation. So focusing, if you already have a history of those things, controlling that stress level by doing some sort of prayer or meditation. The second I in Bright Minds is for immunity infection issues. So anything like autoimmune deficiency, Lyme disease, HIV, syphilis, herpes, anything like that that you might have, you're going to be prone to. So you need to take the appropriate medication or supplements to be able to make sure that it's not affecting our brains. And then neurohormone deficiency. So low, for women that, if their hormones are out of whack and they don't know what's going on, they definitely need to go get their hormones checked. Same thing with men and low testosterone, or women, low testosterone. And then D is for any history of diabetes or obesity, and or if we're overweight, we need to, it can definitely cause problems for us in the, when it comes to our brains. And then last but not least is sleep. Sleep. Yeah. So I have a problem staying asleep. And it's very important that we get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I never really thought much about that before COVID. So very important.
Yep.
What do you think of Bright Minds?
I think it's amazing. And I think it's really cool that they showed you exactly the things that you need to focus on the most. Makes me want to run out and get a SPECT scan. SPECT scan.
Yeah, I actually hit the disclaimer thing, which that was an accident, but I will make sure I put that up. This is not a for sale or, advice, medical advice. This is just something that I found was very important that I go have done, because I was worried about it. I was worried that I one would have Alzheimer's, and therefore I wanted to be prepared so that whoever I was going to ask to take care of me or do whatever they were going to do, that it was definitely something that I knew in advance. I didn't want somebody just to take that on and us, kind of guess at it. That's what DoAsWeDo. We preach being proactive and talking to your loved ones about your care in the future. And so this was a part of that step for me.
And Melanie Style says, thank you for sharing this information, Kim. Much love. And I agree. Kimberly, you are incredible to just be so willing to be so personally vulnerable and to share all of this with us so that we can learn. Yeah. Because it's kind of hard to learn when you're just talking about other people's stuff. But when we're talking about our own stuff, we can teach someone, yeah, this is me and this is what it shows and this is how I am and this is what they said and I wasn't sure about this and all the things. It helps us to really see what's going on.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, I found that it has gotten easier the more that I get comfortable with this journey, because I find that more people, the more honest and open I am about my journey, the more others feel that comfortable in sharing theirs.
Safe.
And they feel safe. And whether it's going to be to me or I'm hoping that it'll be to someone else that needs to hear it, in the right time that they need to hear it, that person will share their story with someone else because they got comfortable with me when I did the same, right? And vice versa. So
Kimberly's out saving lives, right? And
we're trying. They also did this. This is just, without going too far into a wormhole, they give you a, like I said, for me, out of the 11 risk factors, I need to work on 6 of them. And so when it came to blood flow, for me, I need to, these are 10 additional things that I can do, whether it's drinking more water, which I do. I drink lots of water. Playing some sort of, it says racket sport, but I'm assuming it's just anything that makes you exercise and have some sort of coordination, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
That's awesome.
Get assessed for sleep apnea if you snore or stop breathing at night, which I do not, thank goodness. You focus on 7 hours. It's so crazy how much our sleep plays into so many different aspects of this, right? Like sleep comes up several times within this acronym.
I think our sleep, the reason our bodies are so hell-bent on getting us some sleep. Like, you can't just not sleep for very long. You can for a little while, but your body forces you to sleep. That's how important it is.
Yeah.
And
when we fight it, it's bad. It definitely causes us to not think straight, not make rational decisions, like you name it. It definitely causes a lot of things that, as I've gotten older, I've realized I absolutely need it. Before, when I was younger, I can sleep when I'm dead, or I'll make up that sleep, and I feel like I did do some of that, but as I got into my 40s, I realized how much better I felt when I had a full 7 to 8 hours of sleep, for sure. I
like number 6.
Yeah, number 6, a small piece of sugar-free dark chocolate. Putting blue light blockers on your phone. That makes a lot of sense. The light. Ginkgo, omega-3 fatty acids, green tea, and
resveratrol.
What is that?
Resveratrol. I'm not sure what it is. Okay. I think it's a blood pressure thing.
Medicine?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, they typically start with supplements that they prescribe, and then they go into prescribing, and this was not prescribed to me, but because it was just the exercise factor that I need to make sure to get because everything else I was doing minus the exercise factor to keep my heart rate over 100 beats per minute.
Resveratrol fights aging, protects the skin, and improves the overall appearance of skin. Resveratrol also improves, oops, this thing got in the way. The look of fine lines, skin firmness, hyperpigmentation, elasticity, texture, and radiance. It's antioxidant rich and calming, anti-aging properties.
Oh, well, maybe I'll have to check it out.
I could always use some nicer skin.
Yeah, no kidding. And then under the retirement and aging, they give 10 key factors for stop smoking, limit charred meats, which I thought was quite interesting, which I don't eat a lot of red meat or charred meat in general. Get your ferritin levels checked. Is that having to do with our?
Probably has to do with iron, just from the fair.
Okay.
I imagine.
Donate blood. Try a 12 to 16 hour fast, which I do the 8 to 16 fast, where I eat for 8 hours and I fast for 16.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than you anticipate, for sure. And once you get on a routine, of not starting to eat until like 11 or 12, it definitely it makes your body feel better with everything. Consume more plant antioxidants such as organic blueberries. Well, anything that's antioxidant is good, for sure.
Number 6 again, my favorite.
You read number 7 and number 8 for me.
Acetyl L-carnitine.
I
don't know what that is. And N-acetylcysteine.
We'll have to Google those. Staying connected is extremely important. I know that more than ever, looking at, how my father has disconnected from the world and seeing how that's affecting him, and the way that when my mom does stay connected with, her friends and other family members, just how that brings her energy level up as well. And then start a daily practice of learning something new. So it's something that I all these things can be implemented, not immediately, but over time. I'm taking one at a time to make sure I hit all six, and do the things I need to do to get my brain back where it needs to be healed. So that way in the future, because she did say with the the brain injury that I could develop dementia in the future.
Mhm.
But having that time on my side, well, or not on my side, depending on how you look at it, that now that I know these things and I can do these things, that hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years, my brain will heal.
Yep.
Next, we have inflammation, which I'm not going to go through all of these, but I just, I encourage everyone to go check out, the Amen Clinic's website, and, or ask your doctor about a SPECT scan, because it's definitely something that has given me more peace of mind, and given me more tangible action items, as you can see, that will actually affect my brain in a good way. Let me see. I want to show one other thing while this was the other thing I was going to show. Ha! Now I thought this was something that was, can you see that?
Yeah.
So this shows just the different effects from different ages. These are, all ages, healthy brain up top. And then it goes at age 17, 4 years of marijuana, age 22, 4 years of smoking, age 38, 6 years of opiates, age 32, 4 years of cocaine, age 45, 10 years of alcohol. Wow, that looks like Swiss cheese. And then age 28, 3 years of meth. That really makes me sad.
So it looks like the ones on the left are the top of your brain, what they look like with those certain things. And on the bottom looks like the underside of your brain. I mean, on the right looks like the underside of your brain.
Yeah. It goes, yeah.
Brain stem and up.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
so
scary. Well,
yeah.
Good thing I don't do drugs, huh?
Yes. Well, well, alcohol technically, right, is also something that I have definitely, my brain doesn't look like this, but it definitely, there are, she did say that some of the dents could be from toxins, and that one of the toxins is absolutely alcohol. Mm-hmm. So considering I started drinking at 15, like I don't drink as much as I used to, because, now that's just, just different season in my life. However, it makes me still cautious and wonder, well, I don't want to totally give up having a nice, glass of wine or something to drink when I'm socializing, but I definitely feel like, okay, I've drank enough in my years past that I think I'm good with just isolating my drinking habits to when I socialize with my friends, or I go out, for a, dinner or networking and things of that sort. Because
same as how any of us should approach, sugary goodies. It's okay to have a treat here and there, but not every day, and definitely not all day, every day.
Well, and you talking about sugar, she said complete removal of all sugar and processed foods. So
processed
unhealthy sugars, which is everything but, all kinds of, minus the natural fruit sugars, and like you said, lower, having a treat every now and then, but sugar is what puts the plaque, and those processed foods is what is what's causing a lot of our illnesses, and especially what causes that plaque buildup in our brain for Alzheimer's.
Yeah, that's the insulin resistance that
Mm-hmm.
causes us to, and having too much sugar increases the resistance to the insulin and how well it can process the sugar.
Yes, yes. So I wish I would have known that early on as well.
Me too.
Coulda, shoulda, dida, woulda, but it is definitely something that now that I know, I try to not keep sugar in the house or get things that are sugar free, or more natural. If I do have a sweet tooth, or my mom, especially for what my mom, because there are other factors that I need to consider as well. So, yeah. So I would highly recommend, if you're worried at all, or or if your family member makes any kind of joke about, oh, well, it runs in our family, I'm probably going to have it, make them go get a scan.
Yeah.
Because, like, one of the main things that this doctor talks about, he says, wouldn't you want to know if you're going to get hit by a Mac 10 truck?
Mm-hmm. No.
Jill, wouldn't she want to prepare or get out the way?
Right.
That's the way he looks at it, right? He says, if you're going to be hit by a truck, wouldn't you want to get out the way?
Right.
It's basically. And I'm like, absolutely. I want to get out of my own way and not rely on someone else to take care of me.
Right.
And that's really what it comes down to, is we should stop, even though it is a cycle of life, and I understand that that we do this as a generational thing, but we still we need to change it by talking about it first, not saying not to do it, but just giving our family members, our children, a little bit more of a heads up than just awareness of what they're going to have to go through, as well as what you as the individual are going to be going through, because it's stressful for everyone. Mm-hmm. Would you not agree, Jill?
Oh, I would so completely, absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Let's cut down on all our stress.
Yeah. By just having a simple conversation, that's what it comes down to.
Isn't that easy?
Yes. So again, like I said before, do as we do. That's why we started. Our mission is to, consistently educate people, provide resources to the caregivers who either are still struggling with whatever they're struggling with, or just jumping or being thrown into, I shouldn't say, because you do jump into it or you get thrown into it, one of the two. But that's what DoAsWeDo is here for, to educate, build awareness, and help caregivers financially when they need it. So very important.
Thank you, Kim.
No, thank you, Jill. I appreciate you so much.
We make a pretty good team, I guess.
Yes. So next week, we're going to wrap this up. And if you all have any questions, again, make sure leave them in the comments. If you're interested in getting a SPECT scan or wanting to know more about it, AmenClinics.com is definitely a place you should go to go do some more research, or ask your own doctor for sure. I want to make sure people understand that. Very, very important. This is not any kind of medical or financial or any other kind of advice. I'm just sharing my experience, just so you know. I'm throwing back up the disclaimer.
Kimberly doesn't have any connection with Amen Clinics.
No, not at all.
She does no affiliations.
Yeah, they're not
PACs or anybody.
Correct. I just want to share my experience, so that way, if someone else is struggling with the same kind of going through this, or they're wondering, or they're having anxiety about it, like I did, wondering what do I need to prepare for, what's going to happen to me in the future, do I need to be on medication for the rest of my life, all of it,
And so many people now, partly because of nutritional problems and toxins and stuff, so many people now are being misdiagnosed. Mm-hmm. They might have a physical problem and be told that it's a mental problem, or they might have a mental problem and be told that they have a physical problem. And it's just so easy to not really know. And it's really typical for doctors to not know without a lot of thorough testing. And it's not because the doctors are not capable. It's just that there's so many factors in somebody showing up at the doctor's office and saying, this hurts and I feel this way and I'm thinking that and I can't do this and whatever. Like, there could be a lot of reasons. And so for psychological reasons, the medical field, psychologists have been the one field that doesn't typically historically do any kind of scan. Like, you break your arm, you go to the doctor, they do an x-ray, or you have a torn rotator cuff and they give you an MRI or whatever. They just send you first and see exactly what it is. And
not when it comes to your brain, not when it comes to psychiatry. And we should be getting, instead of a cluster of symptoms, getting diagnosed from a cluster of symptoms, we should get our brain looked at, scanned, and then they diagnose us based on
it at
activity.
Least gives them a much better idea of what might be going on. Then they can talk to you about your history too, and kind of connect the dots. Were you a football player or
and that's what she did. That's what it was. There was a 2-hour in advance session with the clinical person. And then another session before the SPECT, and then the 2 SPECT scans, and then a session with the doctor, and then there'll be a follow-up with the doctor. So all of it. Now I have a true look at everything, and then they give me, an assessment with, here are all these things you can do, here are these supplements if you wish to take, and if it came down, I'm already ADD, so I'm already on Adderall, but it's good to know that where I am on all of it.
And it's good to know that you don't have bipolar and have to take this crazy medication just because you had one meltdown that anybody would have had in your situation in that story.
And a lot of people have gone through, I feel caregivers, whether they're a caregiver of their children or a caregiver to, of someone, an elderly, dementia, whatever who they're a caregiver of, that a lot of anybody can melt down. You can have have a mental breakdown if they want to call it, or who knows, but just to be slapped with some sort of diagnosis that isn't true to who you are, and you're having to take that medication for the rest of your life is that doesn't make you feel good, or you don't feel is helping you. You definitely should go get a second opinion. Because
and hospitals and clinics that hire doctors don't give them the time that they need to adequately and thoroughly assess people. So it truly, usually isn't that doctors are inept. It's that they're restricted so much by how much they can really do in a certain, office visit or whatever. So
for sure.
Keep in touch with your doctor. Keep going back and get the answers. Get scheduled for those tests, whatever tests that you need, and don't let the doctor just slap you with the diagnosis and give you an arbitrary medication without asking them a lot of questions. Now, sometimes the doctors know exactly what it is, and a medication is going to help a ton. My happy pill. I was crying in my doctor's office one day and bawling my eyes out, and he's like, let's get you on something. And it was out of the blue. I was like, really? I'm not depressed. And it made all the difference in my life. And so, sometimes the medications are appropriate. Sometimes it's really easy for the doctor to see what you need.
And sometimes and if you don't want to take medication, there are supplements that or foods that you're lacking, look into all of it. Don't, and be okay with doing the research and asking for a second opinion. If you don't like, if that doctor isn't working for you, if you're not, I always used to feel weird about saying I didn't like a doctor, right? Like that it wasn't, and it wasn't until I realized that it's okay. Like if I didn't click with that person, to find another doctor.
It's recommended. It's recommended, to get a second opinion, or to shop around for the right doctor that you really connect with.
Yeah, for sure. That has the right bedside manner that matches up to you. Yeah, for sure. 100%, very important. But something I had to learn, for sure.
Yeah, I think we all kind of have to figure that one out as we go.
Okay, good. I wasn't the only person.
No.
But, well, it definitely was not something that I grew up, getting, once whatever the doctor said, back when I was growing up, we really didn't ever question it. I
Yeah,
don't think
that was how it was for everybody, I think.
Yeah. So getting second opinion is definitely a lot more normal and okay. It's always been okay, but it's definitely, don't feel like you're going to hurt anybody's feelings.
And any doctor worth his salt isn't going to have a problem with that.
There you go.
If they have a really big problem with it, then you don't want them anyway.
Good statement. Yes, absolutely. 100%. So please go ask, do your research. We want you to feel better, because if you feel good and you're caring for someone, then you're going to be able to care for them even better. And you will definitely be able to thrive, not just as a caregiver, but in your own, realm, your own life, like making sure, because we have to care for ourselves before we can care for someone else.
We got to have hopes and dreams and things to look forward to too.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Gets us up in the morning.
Yes. So thank you again. We will be back next Friday with Rick from the Juice Market Company, and he's going to be sharing with us his new company, the New Cannabis, and all that they're doing over there. So I'm excited to talk to him next week. Thank you, Deborah. We appreciate you as well. Thank you.
Hi, Deborah.
So yeah, and then after that, the week after that, hopefully we will have Dr. Robert Love on for sure. So
yep, that will be good.
Yes, awesome. Okay, well, until next week, we will remember sharing's caring, and it's not about if you die, but it's about if you live. So don't forget to share your plans.
Right.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Kimberly. You're fabulous.
You're fabulous, Jill. Bye, everyone.